The next item of business is themed question time, rural affairs and environment. Question number 1, Shirley-Anne, Somerville.
To ask the Scottish Government what support it is providing to the Keep Scotland Beautiful National Spring Clean campaign.
Richard Lockhead.
The Scottish Government funds Keep Scotland Beautiful as part of the Zero Waste Scotland programme to help raise awareness of and, of course, participation in the excellent National Spring Clean campaign. The 2010 campaign has been by far the most successful yet, with more than 83,000 volunteers taking part in just over 1,400 clean-up events across Scotland in April. And our Zero Waste Scotland programme also funds Keep Scotland Beautiful to support local authorities and others in tackling litter on an ongoing basis.
Somerville.
Can I thank the Minister for that answer? A few weeks ago I helped out with a clean-up at Leaf Links as part of the National Spring Clean, and both the volunteers and passers-by expressed their anger and frustration about the small minority of people who continue to litter their own communities, including that fine Links. Can I therefore ask the Cabinet Secretary what action the Government is taking to tackle this issue, which continues to be a blight on both our streets and our open spaces?
Minister.
Shirley-Anne, Somerville highlights the sad fact that there are still many people in our society who do drop litter, and that is, of course, damaging for Scotland's image, of course, as well as for our environment. And I'm delighted to hear that she took part in the Spring Clean and hope other members had the opportunity to do so as well. Can I just say that there are a number of options available to local authorities, both in terms of providing the relevant infrastructure, but also to use existing legislation such as the fines that are available. And some local authorities in Scotland do issue a number of fines to people who are caught littering, and others don't. And I would certainly urge all local authorities to use the legislative tools that are available to them to tackle litter in their own communities.
Good afternoon. Our first item of business are questions on finance and sustainable growth. Question number 6, Shirley-Anne, Somerville.
To ask the Scottish Government what representations it has made to the UK Government regarding the proposed cuts to the Access for All Small Schemes Fund.
Stuart Stevenson.
I wrote to Chris Mould, the then Under Secretary of State for Transport, on 13th of April, expressing my disappointment at the budget reduction and urged him to reconsider the decision.
Shirley-Anne, Somerville.
Can I thank the Minister for that answer? He will already know that the Access for All Small Schemes Fund has made a small but very significant contribution to increasing access to our rail network for some of the most vulnerable in our society, from handrails to variable height ticket counters to access ramps and sign language information. A lot of good progress has been made using that fund. However, much does still need to be done. Can I therefore ask him to make further representations to the new UK Government to ensure that this decision made in the final death throes of the Labour Government is reversed as soon as possible?
Minister.
The Access for All scheme for 2010-11 that is provided by the Department for Transport at UK level was originally set in October 2009, 7.9 million. We received information it was being reduced to 3.9 million, and the consequence is that our share fell from 796 to 390 million. The member referred to the most vulnerable in our society being supported by this really very modest amount of money. And it does seem passing strange that a party that was in its rhetoric committed to social justice should choose to make this very small financial cut with a very big impact. And I most certainly will be approaching the new Minister to see if there can be a change of heart.
Good afternoon. The first session of business this afternoon is themed question time, and the whole session this afternoon will be questions on health and well-being. Question 11, Shirley-Anne, Somerville.
To ask the Scottish Government whether it will review policies and procedures to ensure that people with celiac disease have appropriate and consistent access to gluten-free products on prescription.
Shona Robson.
The Scottish Government is committed to ensuring that people living with long-term conditions such as celiac disease receive the care and support that they need. A range of gluten-free food products is offered on prescription, and our commitment to abolish prescription charges in April 2011 will benefit everyone who pays for these prescriptions.
Shirley-Anne Somerville.
Can I thank the Minister for that answer? Can I begin by noting a personal interest in the case as my daughter has celiac disease, although stress that my question today concerns a very unrelated constituent case. The constituent in question has faced a number of challenges when trying to obtain her new gluten-free products on prescription due to the discrepancies which are involved with GPs or what what GPs are willing to prescribe or able to prescribe, and this has led to some sufferers being able to access some products which are denied to others. Can I therefore ask the Minister to ensure that all health professionals utilise the same guidelines when supplying gluten-free products to eradicate the health inequalities that are happening both within health boards and across the country? And would she also look into the introduction of pharmacy-led provision, which would free up a GP's time and improve the efficiency of the NHS in general?
Can I thank Shirley-Anne Somerville for her question? Just in terms of who decides what can be prescribed, that falls to the Advisory Committee on Borderline Substances, the ACBS, and that's a UK-wide body which is set up to advise on the prescription of certain foodstuffs, including gluten-free foods. Now, their list is published in the British National Formulary, and we would expect GPs to adhere to that formulary. Now, she's obviously concerned, the member is concerned about some discrepancies in prescribing and of the products available, and if she hasn't already, I would advise her to write to me with some of the detail around that. In terms of the guidelines, I will look into that in terms of whether or not there's more we can do to ensure that there's more consistency in adhering to the guidelines, and once I've looked into that, I will write to the member.